Here we go. The new version of OBS is a little bit temperamental and it crashes when you click on game capture sometimes, so we're back, I think.
I'm more worried about not being able to return to Odstad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Nah, we're always welcome there. It's home.
Should be worried.
Dad's here. Calm down.
Should be worried. Alright. Episode 3. Saga of Broken Blades. What has transpired so far? Could anyone give me the gist?
We have discovered a conspiracy between orcs and humans on an attack on Hakestead. We traced the either remains or wounded body of one of the people who escaped from Hakestead to the Volker Forest, wherein we turned around, went back to Hakestead, and discovered a new group of people called the Ravens. Mm-hmm. And then we went to the Feldergrins, killed a bunch of poor people, and now we're going to Onstad.
Excuse me, they were very threatening, poor people.
They could have been running a marathon in our direction. We don't know.
With swords raised.
So the tale originally began with Edda being dispatched out to Hakestead to dispense justice on some alleged pig thieves. She beheaded one of them, another one escaped. Orcs also attacked. You tracked Idri to the edge of the Volker, decided to turn back. Then the events that Bruce described transpired. For instance, one thing not mentioned but that did transpire was how Bruce used Hake's own money box as leverage to force him to give the band supplies. Very neighborly things like that.
Excuse me, that was our skull. That was not me.
Wasn't that you and Edda that did that?
That
was Bruce and Sigmund.
Oh. Well, either way, there was some nefariousness.
All I did was hold it. I didn't hand it over.
You stole it in the first place.
I protected it. It could have melted.
I see, of course. In any case, on the way back to Odstad, you did encounter a bandit trap. With one bandit laying out in the open and the rest hiding in a ravine nearby. Your band slaughtered them nearly to a man. The bait actually did escape. How do your characters, I guess I should just say you, how do you feel about your conduct thus far?
I feel like we've done what's necessary to survive.
Mostly in self-defense.
I feel a bit regretful, personally. I think that at least Edda has other tools up her sleeve other than just a sword, and she could use them more wisely sometimes.
Yeah, likewise. I mean, I don't feel that I'm especially equipped to fight people, but we've been in situations where we've had to fight orcs in Hakestead. We've had to track down criminals. We've had to avoid the Volkar forest. We got ambushed by bandits in the Feldergrins, and we had to negotiate with Hake to get rations to actually get to the bottom of the crime. So I regret that we've had to kill quite a lot of people, but I feel like our hand was kind of forced into those situations.
Well, Bruce he's on edge because it seems like the world's shaping itself around him, and he's not able to do anything about it.
And Oscar just feels, that's how people are. You just gotta deal with it, good and bad.
Nice. I particularly like Sigmund's rationalization. And then, since the campaign started, that fateful night where Edda was there to dispense justice at Hakestead, it's been about 6 days, and then it's going to take about 4 more to travel to Odstad. So by the time we get there, here at the beginning of the session, that'll be 10 days into spring. One other thing I want to talk about is our map. So we've got some locations. Odstad is the village that the majority of the band is from. Odstad, main economic significance was lumber, the hardwoods of the Feldergrens, and an idyllic wood nearby. Though Odstad is not on best times, they've been raided some years past. They have an agreement with Ugathwaite for protection, where they send young and worthy warriors to go and protect the secrets of the philosophy. So Odstad is not on the best of times. There's buildings that are empty. The population is smaller than it used to be. There's nothing for sale. People don't have more than they need, though there is easy access to unskilled labor. The only defenses in Onstad are the militia, so the actual people who live there who do know how to fight. And some of the members of the party have previous experience even fighting in the militia. Hakestead is one of several steads in the lands surrounding Odstad. The farmers who help provide the food. Skavgard is Oscar's personal home at the edge of the Volker. The Lada flows past Odstad, kind of encircles the Volker itself. And the Volkers, of course, is a dark, treacherous, ancient, nasty forest surrounding Ugathwaite, which is a ruined keep on a site of some philosophical significance. There are historians who live there, as well as the numerous fighting men who protect Ugathwaite from denizens of the Volker. If you take a look here, you got Jorvalholm, which is a town. Jorvalholm does a similar thing where they send warriors to Ugathwaite and trade for protection. Jorvalholm doing quite well. Between Jorvalholm and Ugathwaite is what I decided will be a village, actually, called Portu's Post. I'm thinking I'm gonna give that like more of a lawless character, and I'm thinking Portu's is gonna be like a foreigner. And speaking of foreigners, I've also added, we're gonna have a sea on our map here to the northeast. Something that you can Vic across and raid. And at least one of those places, should you so choose, you can go to, is a foreign city called Krano. You can see my skillfully drawn arrow right there. So this is the world that we've created so far. And this is another aspect of Dungeon World to kind of think about. I want to use the opportunity that we have a short session anyway to kind of check in mentally. Just as much as your character, the world that we're creating together is like yours too, if that makes any sense. And on my end, I even have rules for how these places interact with each other. They're called steadings. All kinds of good shit there. You guys have a pretty good grasp on the world we've created so far?
I think so.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, makes sense.
We got some nice blank spaces still, too.
I have a quick question on Devik across to Krano.
Sure.
What kind of rations would we spend in a sea journey?
I don't know. I don't see any reason to overcomplicate it. I think we just do distance and then just do like normal.
Okay.
Because with a sea journey, you can still work with those undertake a perilous journey rules nicely, because as far as if there's encounters or whatever, all kinds of little islands out there, or horrible creatures flying down from above, or storm demons, whatever. Or below. Exactly.
What are some distances we're looking for if we're looking to Vic? How many days?
No idea yet.
All right.
It'll just kind of depend. I mean, if we wanted to do that as part of something you started to work on this session, we'd have to find out. We'd have to play to find out. But
All right,
We're leaving. It's time to go.
once this is what I'm thinking, though. Soon, one way or the other, whether Lewis does it or if I use a program or whatever, we're gonna need a bigger map. Does the Lada empty out into the sea? JC wants to know. I think it does.
I would hope that the Lana empties out into the some sea. You get it?
I don't get it.
A lot of some. Yeah, I'll see myself out.
Is it like a math joke or something?
No, a lot of some is another quantity. That was a good groan. Those are good groans. I like groans. We have a short session. We should probably play.
I demand he roll the die.
My time zone actually increased by 3 hours. I have to look into that, sorry.
I'm sending someone to your house. Alright, let me make a note of that, actually. Good call, Jason. The
We should
blank
remind our.
sea. I'm gonna think about that one. Actually, let's come up with a name for
Let's
the
call it-
sea right now.
How about the
The
blotch?
Sumsea. I liked the Sumsea. I thought that you were trying to name it.
Did you? I'll go with Sun Sea.
How about SOMME?
I can give that one to you. I can give that one to you.
We
Okay.
should remind the viewers on the Infinite Couch that they too can influence the game.
I was just about to do that, Bean. What a great mind meld right there. Not a ton of people tend to watch the Dungeon World sessions, but for those of you that do, don't forget you can spend your hard-earned experience points on the Die of Fate for 420 XP. You can use this move right here on your screen, and I'm running it in 1080p today, so you should be able to read that motherfucker yourself. JC says that he loves maps, and he would like to make our map. Well, JC, I don't know if you utilize the Discord, but you should get in touch with me.
I'll fight you for it, JC.
But I'll only fight in game, so you have to join us.
He's only killed one man, JC. Fine.
So you're telling me that I'm in a situation right now where I have two skilled artistes fighting over making elements for my campaign?
It sounds like you have an artist and a cartographer.
I told you that. What were you trying to say? A cartographer's not an artist? Dunked.
Oh shit.
Got him.
I told you all that I'm controlling this reality. Cool. Those are most of the things I wanted to check in with, just to get everyone's mind in the, because it's been a couple sessions. It's always good to be like, all right, where the fuck are we? And Edda, rightly, is a little bit concerned about the reception in Oddstad, but do not forget that, man, for a stoner, I have a great memory. Due to Oscar's, I don't think. Actually, it was I think it was Bruce. Bruce's good.
I was gonna say due to my. I was like, what did I do?
Trailblazing roll.
Yes, that was Bruce.
We get y'all arrive before Mundi the Wise and his ravens are gonna make it back, even though they all left at about the same time. Make sense? And you actually had a fight too, but you're still going to beat him. Which means you have time before
To set up an ambush.
Mundi explains your conduct at the stead. You feel me?
Yeah.
Because they don't have the internet, so they don't know that happened yet. Oh, see, JC's about that collaboration. That's what I like. He does the cartography. Lewis does the fansography. Anyway, Oddstad. You arrive. You arrive, dawn. Still twilight. Steadily growing brighter. Your band is walking through the pastures surrounding Oddstad. You can see the huddled together buildings, the couple trees that are let grow wild, the village green. You see a handful of people seeing to their morning rituals, maybe some of your parents, because if I remember correctly, Edda's family still lives in Oddstad, Bruce's family still lives in Oddstad, Oscar's family still lives in Oddstad, and beyond a handful of families beyond that, that is about all who lives in Oddstad. You see the lumber yard standing mostly empty with just a few stacks of hardwoods. There just aren't the men to work the Feldergrens like there used to be. Trades dried up. Most are just eking out their day-to-day existence here in Oddstad as you approach. And again, some of them your family. Edda, Bruce, and Oscar grew up in Oddstad. Oscar chooses to live out by the Vulcar now. Sigmund, of course, grew up in the cloistered environment of Ugathwaite, though of course he knows about Oddstad. Maybe he's never been there before. Maybe he has. What do you do?
Guys, I think I need to go see my dad.
I think first we need to know if Lewis has been to Onstad.
Well,
And by Lewis, you mean Sigmund.
Sigmund, sorry.
Bruce is
I've
bad
seen
with names.
I turn to Bruce and say my name is Sigmund, but you probably had a few blows to the head in your time as a meat-headed lumberjack, so I'll forgive you. I've heard of Oddstad, and I've definitely spoken to Oscar about it because in our time he's mentioned where he's from, but it's only something that I've only really kind of seen on the horizon or beyond the hills. But now that I'm here, it's honestly a little depressing to see. I mean, compared to Ugathwaite, which is kind of cloistered away, it still seems like a very much living place. This seems like...
You are absolutely right. In comparison, Ugathwaite, though the historians, there's not a ton of them, mostly just them and their family. There are literally hundreds of fighting men who live at Ugathwaite, so it is a very active place in comparison, even just from that.
So, I've not been here. Oscar's told me about it, and he told me about how he moved to Skarvgard, and just seeing it up close, I kind of feel a bit depressed looking at it.
Well, Sigmund, we can't always choose where we come from, but home is home.
I know, and it's not your fault. But,
I agree with
think,
Billy.
I think if Edda has family here, I think it's wise to maybe meet up with them and maybe they can give us a place to stay.
I mean, we all have family here, so we can all go and visit. I mean, we all know each other very well. I'm sure we have enough bunks if we need to between the three of our families to have a place for now.
I'm going to split off and start speaking to people about some of the events that have transpired, dig up some clues.
So I'm flying in with my brain first. Sigmund activated his human bard ability. When you first enter a civilized settlement, someone who respects the custom of hospitality to minstrels will take you in as their guest. And that very person is Edda's father, Bercy. I'll spell that out here for you.
Burs.
Bersi. Make a note of that myself. See, because we're going to be learning your parents' names today.
Yeah, I was gonna say Edda didn't know her own dad's name there for a moment.
Edda has a mom too, right?
Yep, and 3 sisters, I think we said.
Well, her mom is... It's got to be Hilda, right? They got to have at least one Hilda in their life.
We probably need multiple Hildas. She can be the first of many.
This is a small town, though. Everybody can't be Hilda.
And then you're going to have...
I actually prefer Hildy.
Too bad. You don't get to name your
Bercy
mom.
and Hildy? Aw.
It goes the other way around. She named you. What are you born? And you're like, Mom, I'd actually prefer your name to be... Your sisters are Sigra, Daga, and Svalga. They got the same similar endings there, see? I'm a smart boy. On these Norse syllables here, okay?
Can you say their names one more time? My sisters. Sigra.
I'll do you one better.
Well, thank you.
Your mom is Hilda. And then here's your sister. Boom. See? So Bercy, Edda's father, former judge of these lands, will of course offer his hospitality to the son of one of the esteemed historians of Ugathwain. Though he will have a keen eye for Sigmund's conduct around the 3 sisters, of course. Additionally, sounded like maybe there was another move activation going on, or am I high?
I was trying to tee up a port in the storm, but he's never been here before. And then for myself, I was trying to do either a spout lore or just to talk to people. Whichever one you wanted.
So you're teeing up a port in a storm.
Yeah, I was seeing if he's been here before.
Who?
Sigmund? Billy?
Oh, but then we determined that he had never actually visited Odstad in person before.
Right.
Bueno. And then what else did you say?
When I said I was going off to talk to people and search for clues for what's happened or some information, I was either looking to talk to other people that I know or do a spout lore with someone.
Are you gonna talk to your fucking parents, Bruce?
Well, my dad's dead, so...
What was his name? I can blow one for you here if you want. His name was... I have a badass generator right here if you want it.
Alright, go for it.
Here, let me just give you this link. There's many generators on this dude's website. I'll drop it in the Roll20. Probably one of the best fantasy, like, generator websites I've ever seen. And then the
Yeah, they've got everything on Donjon.
specific one I'm using is right here. Norse, male, female. It's like it's basically fantasy names, but it'll do like different cultures you want. Like I'm doing Slavic for one place in the campaign and shit. Anyway. So you can just use that generator real quick and tell me your fucking dad's name, Bruce. That's what I should do. Make you guys generate the names. What am I doing the work? Dungeon World's all about the DM just sitting back.
How about Hori?
I don't even roll dice. Got it. So we've got Hori, your deceased father. What about your living mama? Or is she deceased as well?
I like Gerde. Gertie.
Gerde.
Oh, yeah.
Gerd. And that's your mama?
Of course.
Living?
Yes.
Okay. And JC raised a good point I was about to raise. You visit your father's burial place? Is there a cemetery? Is there cairns? Where are the cairns? Is there like a hill that overlooks Odstad where the cairns are? Is it... What do y'all do out here? So we'll grab that scene with Bruce since he jumped in there. Bruce immediately peels off from the band and strolls into Odstad as the light grows. Couple chickens are running back and forth across the dirt-trod paths between the buildings. You can see dogs running around. The people of Odstad starting to rise, fetching water, their usual morning routines. And Bruce travels where first? Do you go to your mom? Do you go to your father's resting place?
We'll go to Mom first. She'd kill me if she knew I was here and didn't come see her first.
So Bruce travels to his childhood home. Is it big? Is it small? Is it a shack? Is it a longhouse? Is your mom awake? What's going on there?
Well, they were the prominent lumber folk, so they have.
So they live right next to the big shared lumber yard in the middle of Odstad. Maybe we should. Here we go. Zwoosh. We warping?
Oh my god, we killed the whole
the
town.
town's dead.
Everyone's dead.
What's that baby have a battle axe?
Hang on, relax. This is a hallucination. They're giving away. All right.
Had a flashback to last week.
Yeah. Ah! Oh god! Oh! Alright. So let's say that... Now you're gonna laugh at me, but it's okay. I'm gonna do my best. Let's say there's like a lumber yard right about here. And the Jotunsons live right there. So we've got one place so far. And I'll type in like labels here as we go. Keep going.
She is most definitely awake. She has to get up early and tend to everyone coming through. So Bruce is gonna open the door and say, "Mom, I'm home."
Now when you say she's tending to people coming through, what do you mean? What does that look like?
workers in the lumber mill, so she has to run the lumber mill in the absence of Bruce and Bruce's father.
So it's let's be clear, it's just a yard where lumber is finished by hand and then stacked up. So essentially imagine a tree quartered, dragged in on a sled or a cart by animal labor. Sometimes even thralls. You get 6 or 10 thralls, about as strong as an ox. Then they're finished by hand here, stacked and waited to be transported to sold. The yard's in a sad state. There's not much finished wood even there. So your mom, Garrett, in that instance, she's got to be a redhead too, by the way. It's like fading. She's probably old as fuck now, right?
But she still cuts an imposing figure.
Yeah, oh yeah. She takes no bullshit. She's a bit bored. There's no one doing any work. What do you do? She hasn't noticed you there. She's staring out the window.
Bruce will walk over and set his hand on her shoulder and greet her as warmly as he can.
She's of course startled, pleased. She of course knew you would be coming back sometime in the spring. What does Bruce look like right now? Is he worse for wear? Has he cleaned himself up, or does he have the blood of his enemies all over him? Did he comb his fucking hair and beard, or no? I'm not asking did he do it or not?
He did. He cleaned himself up just a bit. He's got to look at least somewhat presentable for his mom, so he tied his hair back, and he's not covered in blood. Ring gear is, of course, polished, and he sets it down on the table.
Sets down with a satisfying thunk, the family heirloom blade. It's almost like it's happy to be home as well. What do you do?
Going to tell Mom of the travels. Tell her that we had to...
Now, when you tell her of the travels...
spare no details.
Do you tell her the PG-13 I didn't actually commit a bunch of crimes just now?
No, she understands that life gets hard out there in the Felderdrens and in the Volcar.
So she would almost be proud of Bruce's behavior, including the slaughter?
Well, I mean...
Do you leave that out? Or do you...
She doesn't have to know that it was a slaughter. So he says we were attacked by bandits on our way back, and one of them got away. And he's going to ask if she knows of any areas in the Feldergrens that would be a good spot for a bandit or camp of bandits to hide, like a tomb or a cave or something that he might not know of.
I want there to be something there, now that you bring it up.
Should I reword it to be him recounting the areas?
No, I'm actually... Oh, yeah.
Lore? All I really want to do is fail so I can get an experience and level.
Well, now that you've revealed your plan, I'm sorry you don't get to roll the dice.
Mom doesn't understand.
No, I actually... The part of this generator is that it can generate like random areas and shit. So I like to do that to like spark my brain. You know what I mean? Let me just poke at this a little bit.
And he'll, of course, be asking her about the Ravens, if she knows anything of Moki and the Ravens.
Mundi. Moki.
Moki. Mundi.
Is that your gimmick now? You're just gonna fuck up everybody's name? I like it.
I only have one name written down from the last session, and it's Goda.
That's because you have the hots for her.
I thought you were going to say the only name you have written down is your one.
I already misspelled everyone's family's name.
Bruce.
So you can remember your name.
Consult my accumulated knowledge of my own name.
Actually, I like this one here. Sorry, I'm like scraping my mind here. I want there to be something there, but I don't want it to be lame. What is there? Do you all have any ideas? This is the part of Dungeon World I like.
I miss Harambe's tomb already.
Harambe's tomb. Oh my god.
I remember that name.
You want it to be a tomb? Alright, I'll make it a tomb.
Yeah, I'll go with tomb. That's fine.
I like tomb, but it's not Harambe's tomb, okay? As funny as that is. Funny as that is. We'll get a name for it here. Hold tight.
How about Chaucer?
Alstier.
It's Gusabi's tomb.
Alright.
I'm gonna go add that to the big map real quick. Just so we don't forget about it. But you guys won't see it. I'm gonna put Gusabi's tomb in the foothills between... Actually, no, in the mountains between Dorval home. Nah, I'm gonna do the foothills at the edge of the Feldergrens.
Yeah, as I said, we went through the Feldergrens. We weren't over in that area yet.
Right, that would be too far away. But I want it to kind of be like in the foothills at least, so...
No, we can add something else in there.
I'm gonna put it right there. You can't see it though, I don't think. Let's get the stream up.
Of course I have the stream up.
You can see all my secret plans.
Nope, just the map part, and then I'll switch back to the in-game map.
Usabi's tomb. Alright, let's get my mind back to where we were.
Bruce is gonna notice.
Bruce asked his mom, Gerda, while she's sitting there in her lonely, boring front room, main room, only room. It's a longhouse. Since there's no one cutting, it's too dangerous. Not enough people. No one out here finishing because there's nothing to finish. Nothing shipping. Her husband's gone. Her son's not around. She's got nobody to cook for, nobody to fix their clothes. She kind of sits around, stares at her hands. So she's glad you're back. But Bruce had asked Gerda, his mother, in the growing morning light, what exactly?
Well, after telling her that they've been ambushed by bandits, he knew that one got away, and he wanted to know if there were any areas in the Feldergrens that would house this bandit or more bandits, because he's concerned for the town.
She, of course, reveals that there used to be tale in these lands of some old lord Gusabi whose tomb, though ruined, was quite expansive and is said to be in the foothills where the Feldergrins fade out and the mountains between here and Jorvelholm begin. As children, we would scare each other with tales about it, since it was something an old historian came through, passing from Ugathwaite, and scared everyone half to death talking about. Who knows if that's even real? What do you do?
Is that open or to me?
What do you?
Yeah,
What are y'all? Yeah, that's open. The
Oh, it's
scene.
somebody
The
else
scene.
open it?
Yeah, the scene cuts there. What do you do?
Well, Oscar is, of course, going to visit his family as well, as he does every time he manages to venture out here.
All right. Are they both living? His parents? Is it just parents?
Yeah, both parents and one brother.
Okay.
His father's name is Friki.
Here, let me write these down. Freki is Oscar's
Yeah.
father. Freki. All right. What about your mammy?
I was going to do brother since it's
What
also
about your
male.
brother?
My brother is Baldry.
Baldri.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my mother is Saga.
Siga, just 4 letters.
2 G's.
Got it. Now, how old is Baldry? Does he still live with the fam?
He does still live with the family, and he is an older brother.
Oh. Where are they situated? What do they do? Where are they at?
Freaky is still a primary lumber worker.
Yeah.
Um,
They live near the
All
lumber
three-
yard?
they live near, but they're still more towards the edge of town because Saga is the primary hunter for the town, and Baldry is working with her still.
Got it. So they probably stay maybe out here. So Oscar separates from the band as well and has been traveling through the Waking Up village in parallel to his own childhood home. Tell me about it. What's it look like? What's the layout? Who's awake? Who's home? What are they doing? What's it smell like?
Of course, father's asleep since there hasn't been much work as of late. But Saga and my brother are awake, as they're primarily the hunters, so they're usually up early in the wee early times of the morning. And they are both working on tending to some hunt that they have prepared, or they're preparing.
So Saga and your older brother are outside, maybe working, getting hides off and stretched.
Hides off, drying meat,
Yeah.
preparing leather as they need it. And Oscar he learned from his mother and how to hunt, and that's where most of the family is behind his mother in that sense. And father works to try and make money whenever he can.
So, what do you do?
Well, I will stroll up and greet both old big brother and mother and see how their yields have been so far this spring for hunting.
Baldry says, he's taller than you, right? He says, a welcome surprise, little one. Things are not so well. The animals are scarce and scared. There's no lumber to be done. Bandits prowl the roads, as they always do in low times. How is the Volcar?
It is rife with many orc clans per normal. We had there was some attack on one of the nearby steadings by the Luke Dog clan. So we're trying to find out a bit more because there seems to be more than meets the eye.
Indeed. Moondy and his bunch headed out to help him out. He had some choice things to say about you and the band you've been running with. That you were poaching. You weren't poaching on Old Hake's land, were you?
No, that elk was. I was actually bringing it. I was meant to be bringing it home before that little kerfuffle happened.
Well, just don't get caught. In any case, he says orcs came down on him.
They did. They torched most of his land.
It's been
or
years.
Most of his buildings. It has been some time since I've seen orcs outside the Volker. And what's even more unsettling is that I found both orc and human standing side by side at the edge of Hakestead. So I'm looking into that a bit more.
You saw this?
I did not see this. I saw the tracks of this. So no telltale signs is what was going on, but just be wary.
Well, it's good you were here. Are you staying long?
And that's what I've come to decide. Like I said, I was originally just traveling to help bring home a bit of a game and visit family. But now this band and with the Luke Dog clan coming out all the way out to Hakestead so close, gotta find out, gotta get down to what's going on.
Well, it'll be nice to have you around. And your mom, of course, kind of stays quiet while the men talk. It's not sexist, it's cultural. And simply nods and is smiling and happy that you're there. She's mostly focused on getting her work done. What do you do? Anybody else? It's kind of open. Bruce and Oscar have wandered away from the band. Sigma's probably sticking with Edda, since I suspect that's going to be his meal ticket.
Yeah.
And I think, Sigmund, I may need your bardic skills to diffuse a tense situation. So I'm happy to be bringing you to my house.
Yeah, I feel like before we even go into the home, I feel like they might be coming down a little hard on you. But yeah, hopefully I can give some context to what you've had to do.
So,
Well, to continue discussing with Mother then.
Alright, so you hang out at the homestead. We'll cut over to Edda and Sigmund now. Where does Edda's family stay?
I'll draw it for you.
Okay.
bit off to the edge of town.
Okay.
You can tell by looking at the house that as my parents' family grew, they slowly had to add on pieces to accommodate for more and more bodies as they tried to have a son.
Nice. Never worked out. You're the closest they got, I guess.
Yep.
What's going on in the very, very early morning at the Bursey home?
Well, Mom and my sisters will be getting breakfast ready, feeding the chickens and the animals we have.
They got chickens and dogs running around. Got a lot of mouths to
Yeah.
feed.
We got
Probably
a couple
even grow
horses,
some
too.
food of your own here. You don't have horses. I'm sorry. I love you. You don't have horses. No. Sorry.
Mama tried. I was going to explain it away by saying that my dad is the judge.
I was gonna explain it
Travels.
away by this is Viking times, so if you have a horse, you're like a fucking Thane.
Alright.
But I love you.
You can't blame me for trying.
I know, I can't. And I don't.
But Dad, as the judge of these parts, hasn't had much to really do lately. The town's a bit dead. He's probably just up smoking his pipe.
So, Bercy is sitting regally on his porch smoking his pipe as the women tend to the work. Is this correct?
Correct.
That
Tend to the
sounds good.
housework.
Excellent. He sees you and Sigmund approaching. And he simply continues his seat of ease and raises his eyebrows at you as you approach. What do you do, Edda? What do you do, Sigmund?
My dad has no doubt heard from Mundi about what happened at Hakestead. And-
No.
No, they're not
actually,
back yet. Remember?
They're not back.
Oh, but I thought when
Let's clarify. So,
okay.
Edda was sent to Hakes to dispense justice. Hakes
Yes.
sent word with people traveling through his lands to Odstad that he had some pig thieves. He didn't want to hang on to them forever. Send me a judge so I don't have to keep these prisoners and we can figure out what to do.
But then Hake came to Odstad.
Correct. Then, when orcs raided Hakestead, he fled to Odstad, and upon arrival, told the tale of what had happened to that point. So keep in mind all the stuff that has transpired with Mundi and his ravens about 4 days ago now, since you've been traveling. Word of that, likely, you can't think of a way, hasn't reached back yet. Though, in your character's mind, it would be a little bit of a question still, because you haven't seen the ravens around, or Mundi, so you think you beat him there, but did you?
I only meant that my dad had likely heard, from Hake.
Yeah, at least part of the
About-
story, but not everything.
And Edda herself is not her usual state of personal hygiene. She's certainly tried to clean herself up a bit, but blood is difficult to get out of your clothes. As Edda approaches her dad, who's the one who gave her this job as being the judge, and this was sort of her first outing to see how she would handle the role, tears start to well up in her eyes as she realizes how much she's disappointed her dad.
What do you do?
But she keeps herself composed. Sits on the porch with her dad. and starts by
So she,
introducing
well,
him
wait. So
to
she,
Sigmund.
she approaches. She's walking up the porch. She stands up. So you're all standing there on the porch now. And go ahead.
And she starts by introducing him to Sigmund. This is a traveling companion of mine who I met along the road in my adventures to Hakestead. This is Sigmund, son of... What's your dad's name, Sigmund?
I interject and say my father's name is Grim, one of the respected
That's right.
historians from Ugathwaite. I'll hand back to you.
Bettersea narrows his eyes a little bit, lets a big puff of smoke out. I know of Grim. He has been through here before.
I turn to him and say, I trust he found you well as you are now. And I would like to say that it's been an honor to meet your daughter, and I hope that in my way I am able to compose a history of her actions. I've only known her for a few days, but I feel that we're at the beginning of a chronicle of adventures. So I would like to thank you and commend you on raising such a fine daughter.
He can't
is,
help but laugh a bit. Shakes his head. We're doing what we can to prevent it from being an outlaw history. He looks the two of you over, shakes his head a bit again, encourages you to wash up before you continue further. He also explains that when you're finished, he'll need to speak to all of your companions together. And then he, somewhat coldly, goes inside. So, what do you do as a band? Are there... I assume, in some fashion, Edda will spread the instructions and go and let everyone know that Bercy wants to meet with all of them. As far as you understand, you're the judge right now, but Bercy is Edda's father, so she perhaps will do what he says, or maybe she won't. Either way, what I'm curious about here are any moves people are angling for, anything in particular people are trying to get accomplished here in Odstad prior to having to meet with Mercy.
I think that Edda, before this meeting with her dad, would take a little time to... I'm not sure what there'd be at Odstad, if it would be a personal sort of temple to the gods, or maybe there's a community type building she would go to. She'd spend some time in prayer. Asking Tyr for guidance to help her understand our current situation a little bit better.
Let's say there's a statue of one of the Pantheon here. I assume that it's Tyr, right? Is it a statue of Tyr?
Yes.
Okay, so in the center of the village kind of green, an area that's kept specifically manicured with fragrant herbs, flowers, you name it. Whereas areas elsewhere tend to be trodden down on a bit dirt and mud from traffic and animals running around, people, whatever. Though not that much. Keep in mind it's a village, so likely what we're actually looking at here would be more like there'd be an area that's a little bit trodden down, but it would have like grass growing in it, you know what I mean? Maybe you'd see like maybe it'd be like something like that, and you'd see like two almost like ruts, you know, where like the carts and sleds and shit go. Something like that. Anyway. I'm no artiste. Go over here. So that would be made out of polished wood. Maybe it's kept painted. Tyr is a Norse god as far as the appearance goes. Would likely be one-handed. Would likely be holding a blade. Maybe the statue's wood, but the blade is metal. Something like that. Who knows? So if you were to pray, that would likely be where you'd go to do it. And this is also likely where the meeting would be held, out in the open air. You can probably imagine maybe there's some benches here and there. So now, are you trying to activate an ability?
I was going for discern realities, since Ed is specifically trying to pray for guidance in her current situation.
I kind of like that. Let's take a look at the move itself. So, discern realities, a basic move. When you closely study a situation or person. So, in this case, what is the situation that she is contemplating in her prayer and meditation?
Ed is contemplating the situation of the orcs and the possible human help that they're receiving, and the safety of Odstad.
Too much.
Too much?
That's two. I heard two separate situations, did you?
Yeah.
I heard the alliance between the orcs and humans, and I heard, or the Lugdog clan and some humans, and I heard the safety and of Odstad.
Then Edda's praying for guidance on the safety and current situation or current state of Odstad. Is that a little bit more specific?
Sure. No, that you had specific. Okay. You just had two. Yeah. I like that. It's a creative use of discern realities. I'll let it fly. Being in contemplation, because it's when you closely study a situation or person, roll wisdom. To discern, let's look at it. To discern, you must closely observe your target. Can't just stick your head in the doorway. You're not just scanning for clues. You have to look around. It's not just about noticing detail. It's about figuring out the bigger picture. So I'm gonna let it go. I don't want it to get abused, but in this case, I'm gonna let it go. All right. So this so roll your discern realities. You roll wisdom.
The gods are kind this morning.
So, due to rolling a 10 plus, you're going to ask me 3 questions from the list below.
Who's really in control here?
In her contemplations and prayers, a thought that does come to Eda, though it is a bit of a dark one, is that he who holds the blade holds the power. And the state of things right now, she feels that she is the most formidable here in Odstad. And particularly her with her band. Much more martially capable than anyone around.
What should I be on the lookout for?
Eda is wise enough to be suspicious of Mundi and his ravens, especially because they have yet to return. Meaning, Mundi hasn't yet had a chance to give Bersi another earful.
What here is useful or valuable to me?
Odstad has almost nothing of use or value. Most only have enough to barely feed themselves and their family. Any heirlooms such as Bruce's Hringir are guarded jealously. Steel is guarded jealously. People will help each other in the neighborly way, but no one in Odstad is flourishing. If there were something here, you'd be afraid that someone would just come and take it. That's your 3. Right?
Yep.
Anything else transpiring? Does Eda go around, I assume, and just let everyone know that Bersi wants a meeting? My father,
Yep.
Bersi. How does she say? Does she say my father? Does she say Bersi wants a meeting?
Oh, she says my father.
Anything else that the band wants to tend to?
Well, before parting from home, Oscar would like to ask either father or mother for a dull dagger that may be laying around, because a companion of his needs to be taught how to live in the wilds.
Your older brother makes fun of you and explains that times are hard and that they don't have anything to share with your friends. Anything else?
So be it, big brother. Well, I must find out what it is that Bersi wants.
When Eda approaches Bruce, he's with his mother at the cairn of his father, and another.
Let's say that
person
Bersi wants the meeting for high noon. When the sun is straight
Okay.
in the sky, meet at the statue of Tyr.
There is another person that approaches as well, and it's a old flame of Bruce's named Vaka. And she's a member of the guard, almost like a shield maiden. And she wanted to know everything that Bruce had seen, and Bruce is going to confer with her about the
Well, hang on.
Alliance.
Let's clarify about VA. How do you spell it?
VAKA.
Okay. Old Flame.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's no guard in Oddstad. It's literally like if Oddstad were attacked, it would be people like Bruce, it would be people like Bercy, Freaky, anyone who can pick up something and fight. That would be it.
Well, she's a strong woman. She's like
So what
she's
does she
formidable
do?
in battle. She will
What does she do?
the shield to stand guard against anyone trying to come between the town and the residents.
Like that. What does she do for a living?
What does she do for a living? She works in the lumberyard, but since it's dried up, she's
There's
been
nothing to
trying
do.
to make ends meet.
So she's kind of hanging around, like, "Hey, what's up?"
And she's kind of bored.
Snooping around, seeing if maybe there's some work or some D or the combination. She could be prostitute herself.
I mean, both are acceptable as work, right?
In this era, absolutely, yeah.
But he's going to confer with her and kind of rattle off all the things he knows about the last time the orcs and the humans have collaborated.
Oh, so Bruce is racking his brain, his memories of the time that
Trying to think out loud.
How long has it been since the orcs last raided?
They last raided whenever his father died, so let's say 10 years ago, something like that.
So it's been a while. So he's trying to remember back some decade ago, the last time the orcs had attacked Oddstad, when times were much richer, when there were many more able-bodied young men, when they all had been sent off to Ugathwaite to protect a bunch of bookkeepers, right? Sounds like you're trying to spout lore.
Indeed.
All right. So it's interesting because Zeus actually wants Bruce to fail here. He's trying to angle for that XP, so he's rolling something with intelligence on his fighter. And spout lore is when you consult your accumulated knowledge about something, roll your intelligence. You spout lore anytime you want to search your memory for knowledge or facts. Take a moment to ponder the things you know about the Orcish tribes. And depending on how you roll, you're going to get facts either way. They might just be interesting facts, but they might be very useful facts. So, roll the bones there, Bruce. Oh, you already did?
That was a spectacular failure.
Wow. So you rolled a 3.
Nice.
Well, you got your experience point for failing a roll, but now I get to make a move. As Bruce stands in his childhood home in the Longhouse, racking his brain, softened from many head collisions. His mother is sitting nearby at the table with Hringir laid out on it. Vaka is leaning against the doorpost. It's quiet, calm. You can hear maybe the nails of a dog running along the porch or something. That's about it. And then Bruce wakes up from his reverie to see 2 bulky, middle-aged men of Oddstad, Nolly and Oral. Let me write that down too. Bruce is pulled out of his rapture, his reverie. Vaca and Saga, right, look up as well.
It was Gertie.
Huh?
Gertie.
Gertie, sorry. Look up to see the two men knocking, or one of them's knocking on the post outside. Nolly and Oral. One's blonde, one's redhead, two youths. Well, not youths, middle-aged. Bruce knew him growing up. Each has, though not in the same place, Bruce picks out a pewter raven. Pinned. One has it pinned to his belt. One has it pinned to the clasp of his rough spun cloak that he's got tossed back since it's spring and it's not cold. What do you do?
Grab Peringier, ask him what they're doing there.
Bruce reaches back, grabs Fringir off the table, and says, "What are you doing?"
Yeah?
Nolly smiles. "Easy, Bruce."
These are trying times. Can't know who to trust these days, especially not whenever they have pins.
Ravens are favored by Odin.
From where I stand, I see a crow.
Burn.
Well, in either case, you shan't be standing there long. You need to come with us.
I have a meeting with Bercy. I'm not going with you.
We have a meeting with Bercy as well.
You lead. I'll catch up.
Why don't you walk between us like friends?
He's frantically searching for an ability to intimidate them.
Oral speaks up. Maybe leave Hringir with your mother.
Bruce is gonna strap Peringier back to his back in the scabbard and completely deny them.
He shrugs with his hands open. Enough fooling, says Nolly. Let's go.
Bruce is gonna nudge Vaca to walk with them and hand her a shield from the longhouse.
As she starts to follow, Oral interjects himself. He takes the shield on one hand on each side and gently takes it from her. And just sets it down and leans it against the longhouse. No, no. She's not invited.
She's with me. I have a meeting with Bercy, and I'm bringing her along.
Nolly turns where he's a couple steps ahead. She's not invited.
As far as I'm aware, you don't speak for Bercy, so you shouldn't know who's invited anyway. Walk, or we're going to have a bit more than words in this situation.
Oral puts his arm around Vaca's shoulder. What will we be having, Bruce?
Bruce is gonna crack his knuckles and he says, well, one of us is gonna leave here with less teeth.
Does anybody see this going on? It's not a big village.
This is inside, though.
Now they're out front.
Not that they were inside. Okay.
This
I
They're-
assume I'm already. And
They're already
There's-
headed towards the tier statue, so
this is going on. I would assume, like, let's say, right. You don't have to see. I'm just saying it's possible. It is. It is.
I mean, I would
Especially
say
with the
that-
lumber yard low. I'm saying if you want to, you can. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I would say that people can definitely see them having this exchange, and Bruce is going to be looking for the members of his ring.
As Bruce looks around, he can't help but notice that heading into Oddstad, and there's more build. There's not much more, but there's a bit more than what we've got drawn. I trust your imaginations. I'm just not gonna sit here and draw 34 boxes when we're a little short on time. Unless you really need that. As Bruce looks around, he sees the lights coming up. You know, it's probably at least full day now. Beautiful sunrise. Coming through the grasses and pastures surrounding Oddstad, he sees a handful of folks, but notably, he can pick out Mundi, and surprisingly, Hake is with him.
Seems like an awfully tense situation that somebody could maybe get experience points.
Mm-hmm.
just throwing it out there if you'd like to take advantage of it.
Well, where is Sigmund in this situation?
Where is Sigmund?
Where is he?
You tell us.
Where is Sigmund? Well, he's on the other side of the roads. Initially, moving from Bercy up to the tier statue, but he notices that there's some kind of altercation going in front of Bruce's house. So, realizing that Bruce is actually running a little bit late because it's getting to high noon, he strides over and just very confidently just says to Bruce, "Look, come on. Those trees aren't going anywhere. You can chop them down later. We need to go to the statue just now, so come on."
Bruce lays a hand on Vaka's shoulder and pulls her away from, was it Nali that had his arm around her? Anyway, Oral. He's gonna pull her away and start walking. He says, "They're just carrying birds anyway."
Give me defy danger strength. Sigmund walks up, tries to joke a bit with Bruce to defuse it. Bruce goes to pull Vaka away. So with a defy danger and a result of a 9, I offer a worse outcome, hard bargain, or ugly choice. I guess technically I should have set up the conditions ahead of time too, but it's pretty clear. As Bruce reaches over, he realizes that Oral's grip on Vaka is not quite as friendly as he suspected. Bruce is surely strong enough to pull them both down to the ground, or he can make a bit of a fool of himself by engaging in a momentary tug of war with Vaka, which he loses. What'll it be, Bruce?
It is a hard bargain. My honor or hers.
Oh, I know how to make them tough.
We're already about to be humiliated, so I'll go ahead and lose the tug of war.
Oral smiles once Bruce gives up. See? And then Nolly puts his arm around Sigmund and says, we're gonna head over to yonder statue as good friends, aren't we?
I turn to Nali and say, well, a stranger is just a friend you haven't met, so let's expedite this. I think we're ready to have our date with Destiny, so listen. What harm could there be in going?
What was that last bit, Lewis?
I said, what harm is there going? And just comply.
We stroll together. Given our time, I think setting up for this scene at our next session is going to be the best thing to do. So, as it settles out, some ravens, Nolly and Oral, a bit authoritatively escort Bruce, Sigmund, and a former companion of Bruce's, Saga, into the Oddstad Common, where the statue of Tyr is kept. The sun is starting to rise, even though the meeting isn't quite until high noon. The interested parties are assembling. I assume Edda arrives, Oscar. To perhaps some surprise, Hake is there with Mundi. Quite a few of those you remember living in Oddstad have decided to wear these raven pins, whatever group they signify. And of course, Bercy is there. And it seems like there's going to be some talk and some judgment about a couple instances in the lands surrounding Oddstad recently. But that won't be happening until the next session. So we should do our end of session move here, so that way we get done on time. You feel me?
I feel you.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. So, pull up that move here for everyone. The end of session move you do at the end of each session. The first thing you do, well, first off, anyone, if you fail to roll, make sure you, I know we didn't roll much, but you can scroll back through and see rolls, and if you failed one, make sure you mark your XP. At the end of the session, we first check bonds. I kind of doubt any bond became completely resolved in that session. I think we're safe to just say no. Am I right?
Correct.
Yeah, nothing resolved, but I tried to push my bonds a little.
That's good. Which ones?
Well, I was making fun of Bruce at every opportunity.
Beautiful.
I sucked up to Edda's dad to say that I was trying to write a history about
Yeah, I
him,
was
which
glad
is-
to hear that called out.
The bond with Oscar, not really. Like I just said that we had spoken about where he had come from before, but that's not really.
He worked on his a bit with yours, though.
He did, yes.
Yeah, I definitely heard lots of bonds being worked on, but no resolution.
Nothing resolved. No.
Definitely. Does anyone feel like that they fulfilled their alignment this session?
I defeated level 1. Is that a worthy opponent?
No.
Well, with a little help from my friends, I tried to defuse a tense situation.
Agreed. So mark an XP for that for sure. Did anyone else fulfill their alignment this session?
Nope.
Well then, let's ask some questions. Did we learn something new and important about the world?
We learned of a tomb that could possibly house bandits.
Yeah, we learned about a place called Gusabi's tomb that Bruce's mother Gerda heard. Maybe that was when Grimm came through. He talked about Gusabi's tomb. Who knows? But she alleges there's tale of a place called Gusabi's tomb in the foothills at the edge of the Feldergrens. Now, are there bandits living there? Maybe. Who knows? It could be a place that they live. But we did learn of this location, and I was glad to see that. I want more tombs and ruined towers and keeps and shit, because that's shit you can explore and go find treasure and stuff inside. So well done on that. Everyone gets to mark an XP on that one. Did you overcome a notable monster or enemy?
No.
Ah. And did you loot a memorable treasure?
No.
Not much to loot in Oddstad, it would seem.
And that's another one too that you kind of want to fish for too, is the notable monster enemy and the looting a treasure. But you're right, there's not a lot around here. But keep in mind, like, creativity in Dungeon World trumps all. So like, if you came up with a legit, like, creative reason why there would be something somewhere, or if you had a move that allowed it to be influenced or whatever, or even if someone watching likes you and rolls the die of fate, these are things that could change that situation to allow you to, do that. So, but much like when we were playing Apocalypse World, the world systems take a little while to acclimate to how much control over the narrative you really do have as a player. Groovy. I want to mention leveling up, since I'm certain you're starting to accrue some XP. How leveling works up in this campaign, you can either have it take hours or days. I'm doing days, meaning to transition from level 1 to level 2, you need to first have 8 experience points. Then you're going to need 8 days of downtime. Over the course of those 8 days of downtime, you will trade in those experience points for your level. And the downtime is to represent training, rituals, DMT trips, finding secret knowledge, divine inspiration, the process, the 80s montage of you leveling up. If you set it to hours, you have more of an arcadey, like, ultra fast paced game. If you set it to days, it makes leveling up more valuable. So that's what I want to do. Red Squash?
You guys hear the cat?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is it? Come here, little leveler. Oh, wow.
Cat
Well,
cam.
She's getting snuggled. No, she's not in the view, unfortunately. She's getting snuggled in minutes. Can you wait minutes, little baby?
Not hours or days, minutes.
Minutes. Alright, so good sesh as usual. It was a little bit, short, but I think it was perfect to get us set up for the next sesh. So I'm gonna shut down the stream. Feel free to arrange, the next one like we usually do. JC, make sure you're in touch with me if you want to get some map action going on. It could be definitely useful and appreciated. We'll get JC linked up with Lewis. If Lewis wants to get in on that and add in the beautiful artistry, and then we'll make a poster of the campaign map when it's done. We'll sell it. We'll donate the proceeds to the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, and it's going to be awesome. All right. So anyway, thanks for playing, y'all, and see you soon.
Catch you all later.
All right. Good sesh. Good times. But that will do it. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Really enjoying this Dungeon World campaign. All the episodes are recorded on the Twitch channel, actually, so you should be able to watch them there. They're coming out on YouTube slowly too. This is the third session, fourth stream, because we streamed character creation and a little bit of play there. Appreciate everybody hanging out, man. Might come back online later today with some Conan. Might not. We'll have to see. There's a lot of ways to support the channel, though. You can follow, tip, gift the game, subscribe on Patreon for $1. The most helpful, the most effective way, though, is actually chilling, watching the channel. So I appreciate y'all for doing that. Hope you had a good time. Don't forget that I did build a move just for you guys. If you ever want to spend your hard-earned experience points on it, I'll copy pasta here for you. So you can run that for 420 XP. Now be careful, if you run the command right now, you'll actually lose the XP, but nothing will happen. Well, I guess I can mark it, keep note of it, but you can use the DOF command during the session, and that will activate that move right then and there for 420 XP. So you can affect the game yourself. I do want to thank these illustrious members of the 420 Club. I'd like to thank Kitwoo, Concat, Freeborn Pat, Beanchan99, Sabatum, Vodka, Itchy Snail, Smarms, Dennis Kulik, Lego Hog, Molly Harrison, and Gatsby. Big ups to you all. Really do appreciate that support. To learn more about that, just type !Patreon. That's it. Might be back later with some Conan. Not. See y'all tomorrow.